Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeff and I am dreading this video for some reason. My thoughts are all over the place, and I wanted to make a video earlier in the week, but I also wanted to take a step back and process some things. I watched the Power Hour with John and Josh, and then I watched James when he had bumped his promoted listings up to 21%. And I had some reactions to that. So I want to talk about kind of some of those things, and I kind of want to talk about why are we still talking about promoted listings, but I also know why we're talking about promoted listings. But there's also an elephant in the room with in regards to that I don't know why anybody is not talking about. Secondly, I'm going to look at eBay's stock price and compare it to Etsy and Shopify, because I want to discuss the possibility that eBay's stock buyback is actually not a bullish thing. And I'm going to compare it with Etsy's stock price when they announced a stock buyback back in June, and how that affected their stock, because Etsy and eBay's stock price are very similar. And also Shopify. I want to talk about Shopify because I want you to think about Etsy, eBay, and Shopify and answer the question, which one is not like the others? Because one is clearly not like the others. And I'll get into that in a little bit as to where I'm going with that. And I am going to do some what solds because I want to. I sold some cool things, and I think it's important to show that things are still selling. And I want to talk about when people show what solds, we have no idea what they're promoting at. On my wife's store, I'm at 5.1, and on my store I'm at 6.1, and I did bump up my promoted listings a while ago, and I think it was ever since I started doing the reset. Now I want to get to a place where I can start to reduce that without worrying about how it's affecting my eBay sales. And my process in that is looking at the big picture of my business. For example, yesterday I did 135 on eBay. I did maybe it was like 125 on eBay, 135 local, and 60 on Hip Comics. That is an ideal day for me where my risk is spread out. I want to get to a place where eBay is a particular percentage of my total sales. I see the writing on the wall with eBay. I see the direction that they are going with promoted listings, and it is concerning. It is concerning because everyone's talking about, do I promote or do I not promote? You know, there's people who are taking hard lines in the sand, and you know, it's like dividing people, and it really, you know, we all have to do what's best for our own business. I totally get that, but I also look at things as what is sustainable in my business on each platform that I choose to sell my items on. And I think that is the important question that we need to be asking ourselves with promoted listings is, well, not just promoted listings, but fees in general. I talk to people. I talked to somebody today. I bartered something. You'll see that later. I haven't even looked at the thing that I got yet. And he used to sell on eBay, and that was back when fees were probably like 10 or 12% for him. And I was telling him a little bit about, kind of like the things that are going on right now. And he was just blown away by like how much, percentages that people are paying now. Basically, $100 item that they sell, what they get back. And then you still got to minus the sales cost of goods. And then you got to factor in taxes. So I think the most important question is, how much are you willing to pay in fees on each specific platform before it's just not worth it? Because that number, there is a number, there is a percentage, and there is a number out there that's a fact. For example, when James said that he upped his promoted listings to 21%, and he was looking at his shipping costs, and he was saying that, paying, I can't remember if he said he was paying 49, James from My Boring Reseller Life, for those of you who aren't familiar, but I think most people who watch me are familiar with who these people that I'm referring to. And I can't remember if he was saying that it was 49% of his total cost or 51%. Anyhow, it was a lot. It was close to half. And when you figure in, he was saying that these goods, they were already paid for, but they do have a cost associated with them, and then you factor in taxes, and at some point you just got to think, man, that is just not worth it. It's not worth it to pay that much in fees, and that's what's most concerning to me. Is people talk about promoted listings and they say that this isn't going anywhere, and I agree, it's not going anywhere in its current state. But how much is enough? Like how much does eBay want to take in fees before it's enough? Like the suggested ad rate of 8 to 15% and then what's next, and then there's going to be we all know eventually the store fees are going to be raised. The minimum threshold for where you promote at is going to be raised, most likely to 5. I mean, I figure they're going to jump right to 5%, right? Why not? Why not just go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 5? That's kind of what I'm expecting. I feel like, but I've got so much on my mind. And I also want to make a very big distinction here. I am not anti-eBay. And I've said this in the past, and I'm going to say it again. I am pro-seller. There is a massive difference because, I choose to sell on eBay. I will always choose to sell on eBay as long as they'll have me. I will always have specific products that I feel will do better on that platform than other platforms that I use. Now, having said that, I definitely want to reduce the amount of items that I have on eBay coming into the next 3 to 5 years, as long as they stay on the trajectory that they are heading into. I am not convinced that the plan that they have laid out is actually going to work, even with their earnings. I'm not convinced, and I think it's still too soon. I think eBay looks at the Shopify model, and I think they want to be a hybrid of it. I could be wrong, but Shopify is essentially your own website. It's not a place where you can go, to my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think it's a search engine based website where you go there and you type in things and you search. It's basically, Shopify is just your own website, and eBay is a search engine based website where people go there to find specific items. And I think it's asking a lot of people to pay extremely high promoted listings, because think about this, and I should just read the comment. There was a comment that I felt was worth reading from Josh's one of Josh's lives from the other day. Let me just see if I if I have it here. Okay, so this is from, and I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, George Aha. I know that this particular viewer has left comments on there, but they basically propose, and this is what I said, is if everyone promotes, then nobody gets promoted. We all can't be on top. It's a fool's gambit. In the end, we all pay more for no net gain in sales. This is essentially what I was facing in July. I was at my highest rates, but my sales started to decline. I did adapt. I quit promoting, and with the savings, my monthly net sales have gone from 4% year over year for the promoted period to 9% year over year, even with 10% lower sales than while promoting. I sell in every category, and 40% of my items are below $15. We all would do better giving eBay gift cards than asking friends and families to give eBay gift cards to young people. Millions of people watch reseller shorts. A few videos mixed in about great deals available on eBay would be awesome instead of just what we make. And then he goes on and he talks about some percentages, and maybe I'll come back to this. But the most important concept here is, if everybody was promoting at 15%, if everybody on the entire platform was promoting at 15%, there would be no competitive edge. So then you would have to go up. You would have to go up to 20%. And then everyone else would go up. And we've talked about this before. And the elephant in the room with promoted listings, in my opinion, is that when James upped his to 21% and saw some initial results, which quickly faded, which in my own head I speculated that that's exactly what was going to happen, because I've heard this story time and time again about people who have jumped up their rates only to see initial results and then to see it fizzled out. Promoted listings, I get that advertising is essential in any business. And yes, we were spoiled with not having to pay an advertising fee. But the problem is, and it is still a problem, two things. Number one, Jesus, man, like I said, I got so many things going on in my head. Let me just start with one thing for right now. People are acting like if you promote at a high rate, then you're going to make sales. Like, there are still challenges on the platform, and there are many examples of resellers out there who have done everything right, who have had their businesses cut in half. Case in point, Josh from Motorcycle Dork, who I spoke about last video. His sales have been halved from last year. He's changed nothing in his business. He was making 10 grand a month, and now he's making less than half of that. And he has promoted at a higher rate, only to not have any sales come back. So, like, it's one thing if promoted listings guaranteed that you were going to get sales. And obviously there's no guarantee in anything, right? But we should have, based on our own kind of like numbers and histories and seeing what we have achieved over a certain amount of time sales wise, you know, you kind of get into a pattern. You're like, okay, this is kind of like what I make a month, and then you massage it, and then, you know, if that number dips, then you maybe do a markdown sale, or you try to get some more merch up, and, you know, increase your listings, and, you know, that's typically how, you know, it's the eBay seller journey has gone. And if doing promoted listings actually gave you a boost in addition to what you were currently making, that's how an advertising budget should work. But that doesn't work that way with eBay. And so this is what I'm thinking. Why are we still talking about this? Because eBay came out with stellar earnings. Well, not stellar earnings, stellar growth in the promoted listing category. And you know, they're all gung-ho and they're all proud about how much money they make. they've made off of sellers. But essentially, they're cannibalizing the seller base. They're like, and this is such a horrible example. I was thinking about this example earlier. So eBay had plateaued their earnings had plateaued, and they're thinking about, how do we introduce another revenue stream? And they're like, okay, well, we're hungry. Our sales are declining. We're losing buyers. We're losing sellers. What do we do? Well, let's eat the arm off of the seller right now. Let's charge them, take away their ability to earn as much money on an item that they sell. And they do that. They eat the arm. Like, okay, I feel better. I feel like we're on track to, getting our earnings back on track. We're gonna appease our shareholders, and let's move on to the core of the seller. Let's eat that. Let's add more ways to charge the seller, the dynamics, the store. I don't even know of them all because I don't pay attention. Every time they introduce a new aspect to promoted listings, to me it just I'm not doing a pay-per-click. That's the easiest way to lose your shirt when it comes to advertising. Like, why would I pay to get a click with not a guarantee buy? Why would I pay to get a buyer to come to my page and then potentially click off and go buy something else? Why would I do that? I've just paid eBay money and I've made nothing, but eBay has made something. They've made the money from my pay-per-click, and then they've made the money from the commission from the item that sold off of my page. So eBay moves on to the chest. They're like, okay, we're gonna eat this, and we're gonna get another boost in the quarterly earnings report. We're gonna look like we're doing well. But the thing is, and you'll see this in the stock chart, I am not convinced that Wall Street actually believes that this strategy has long-term benefits to the platform. I feel like eBay is in the middle of wanting to retain their identity of what it is, but then also move into a Shopify model on the fly. I don't know if that's true. But anyhow, so there's only and then they move on to the arm, and then there's only so much profit. There's only so much profit that can go around before. And I'm not even, my sales are good. Like, I'm not even at a point, like I just checked my numbers. Since I started doing the reset on October 10th on my store is up 38%. My wife's store is up 63%. I'm not even and year over year I'm up. I'm not up like that. But what if I had been doing the reset for all that for the last 6 months? Where would I be? I don't know. Maybe it becomes a moot point. But I mean, clearly, after all the discussion that has been instigated from this, we've learned that there are people out there that have been doing it for a lot longer than I've been doing it. So my concern is that long-term stability of the platform with rising fees, continually rising fees. There's only so much. There's only so much they can fee you. I guess that doesn't really sound right. Before there's no point in selling. And so I guess the question again, I'm gonna ask you, what percentage of your profit are you willing to pay before you just decide reselling isn't worth it? Or whether you want to move on to another platform. If District can sustain and grow, man, I just can't help but think that they're going to eat eBay's lunch when it comes to, the collectibles and the reselling and whatnot. I just feel like if they can get through the initial growth phase and they can have a stable platform, And I just don't see why, when you look at the selling costs of there versus eBay, I don't know. Or whether another one comes along, or what. This brings me to another point: social networks. eBay wants us to promote our products to our social networks, and I talk about this. I see no point in barraging my social networks with eBay, with my eBay items. Why should I do that? Like, why would I not get my own store and promote my store to my social networks? I don't know. I can't quite figure out what eBay is thinking, that they think that this is going to be a viable strategy, getting sellers to do our own advertising, getting sellers not only to pay them to do advertising, but then getting us to advertise for them. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. And this is not meant to just be like negative. I'm not trying to be negative on the platform, because like I said, I thoroughly enjoy eBay as a platform, but I'm really concerned about the direction that it is moving into, in terms of the sustainability of reselling on this platform. Let me know what you guys think. And what is that number? What is that number for you? What are you willing to pay in total fees before it's not worth it to you? Because I think that this is such an important concept, because that way you'll know exactly what it is going to take for you to decide that either reselling is not for you, or reselling on eBay is not for you, and then you need to diversify or leave, or spread your risk out. I think that is so important. So with all that out, let's take a look at some stock charts. Okay, so this is a monthly 10-year, 12-year chart of eBay. I just want to show you this, and then this next chart's Etsy. Look at how similar these are. So this only goes back to 15. I mean, I remember Etsy. I remember this rise, and I was just like, man, this is just a beast of a stock. And then Shopify, same thing with Shopify. And then the colossal collapse. So, are these starts bullish or bearish? They're all pretty bullish long term, but they are all in kind of no man's land right now. So let me give you an idea. So bullish charts, this is an relative strength indicator. Bullish charts on this indicator oscillate between 80 and 40. And if it stays above there, that's a good thing. That doesn't mean you don't have pullbacks along the way. 80 and 40. And right now, we're basically, this could be a double bottom, but it could languish for years before it does anything. Same thing with Shopify. This dipped a little bit down, but it never went into oversold territory. So Shopify, in the short term, is the most bullish of the charts when you look at like a daily time frame. But let's go back to eBay. So they released earnings. I'm gonna kick it down to a weekly, and I'm gonna kick Etsy down to a weekly. The reason I want to talk about this is because eBay announced a stock buyback, I think for 2.5 to 3 mil bill. Can't even remember what it was. It was so Etsy, yeah. So Etsy did a 1 billion in mid-June. I want to take a look at that in a second. So eBay was $2.5 to $3 billion stock buyback, and the stock fell after hours, recovered, and let's just look at a daily real quick. Fell after hours, recovered, and now this is a little bit of a bearish behavior. But some people can view a buyback as being a bullish thing, but it's not always a bullish thing. Let's look at what happened to Etsy when they announced their buyback in June, mid-June. It was right around here. I think it was June 16th. So June 16th, they announced they're going to do a buyback, dip here, and then the next thing you know, it went from basically 97 all the way down to 60. So it literally lost 35% of its value since the stock buyback over the last 5 to 6 months. I have a theory. Well, it's not a theory, but there's a couple reasons why they probably decided to do a stock buyback. Number one, it looks good, and it can appear to be a bullish move, or that eBay had a lot of confidence in their stock, in their company, that they want to buy back their own stock. It doesn't guarantee that the stock is actually going to go up or go up anytime soon. In fact, I think that they're trying to offset the weak economy. They didn't issue any guidance going forward. And I think that they know that sellers are leaving and or cross-listing and selling their items on other platforms, which will eventually eat into eBay's bottom line. And I think that they know that the more that they try to up the ante with promoted listings, I mean, everything that they're doing, which is increasing the fee structures, is going to cause more sellers to leave. So they're almost anticipating, like they've really upped the promoted listings aggressiveness over the last 6 months. You know, I feel like when promoted listings went from 1% minimum to 2% minimum around that time, which I think I was talking with Primo tonight, and he said it was right around June. I really feel like there was a shift then. It feels like it happened before then, but he looked it up. Yeah, anyhow, I feel like at that point things had changed. And even though things had already changed in April, I mean, they're just always changing. What was my train of thought? I feel like eBay is anticipating a slowdown, knowing that sellers are leaving, that they're cross-listing, and a slowdown in the economy. And so I think that was one of the reasons too. And just to put all their billions of dollars of profit from promoted listings back into the company, just, you know, for tax purposes. If you look at these three charts on the daily, this is eBay on the daily, and eBay is the most, let's just say, the least bullish of these charts. It can't even get above these moving averages, whereas Etsy's had a couple of nice days here, but they've had a couple of nice days before. And I've watched a number of Etsy sellers, and it sounds like they have just as many, if not more, issues on their platform, which clearly their stock is a reflection. I mean, the stock has basically almost been cut in half. Oh my goodness, more so. It's gone from 150 down to 60, you know, over the last, over the course of this year. Now, Shopify, this stock is definitely trying to break out of kind of like the bearish behavior that it's been in, but it is a different business model than eBay and Etsy. And, you know, we always hear comparisons of, like, I'm not even talking about Amazon right now. eBay and Amazon are not even in the same boat. eBay and Shopify are not in the same boat. But I wonder if eBay is trying to, I think it was Josh who mentioned that eBay is trying to emulate the Shopify model. I'm not convinced yet. It's possible, and I can't envision what it would look like in terms of how it would work. You know, part of me thinks that if eBay wanted to get into that kind of like that model, they could have. They could have done it on a completely separate like division of eBay, like eBayify. They could have gotten into that business model of, helping people create their own websites. That actually might have been a good idea. It might have been a good idea for them to go down that route. Just like in the past, I've theorized that it would have been a good idea for them to do like eBay luxury and kind of group all their luxury things that they want to all those categories that they want to focus on. They could have had, like, instead of just like eBay auto, they could have had eBay luxury or eBay sneakers, right? If they want to try to capitalize on sneakers. So I feel like there's like an endless amount of possibilities that they could have went, instead of taking the platform as it is, and in my opinion, making a mess of it. Yeah. So I guess to recap, I'm not convinced that Wall Street is convinced that eBay's strategy for growth is sustainable long term, based on the way the stock has reacted. I mean, even though they didn't show a lot of overall growth, they had a massive sector that showed tremendous growth in promoted listings. I'm doing air quotes right now. And in a challenging environment, and they're doing a stock buyback, and if that truly was being perceived as being bullish, we would not have seen, basically we've gone nowhere. This is where we were the day before earnings, and this is where we're at now. It's complete push. So I think that kind of says everything in terms of how Wall Street is viewing the strategy. And that's concerning to me. That's concerning to me. Well, let's go ahead and get this flipped around. I also wanted to share Primo Chemo's recent video where he has taken off his promoted listings. If you just go to Primo Chemo, it's his most recent video. And I want to take this time to say that I'm going to be back on with another live with him tomorrow, Thursday, at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. So I encourage any of you guys who want to come over there and, ask questions. We're going to be talking about stuff like, I know he mentioned we'll probably be talking about promoted listings. We'll probably be talking a little district, and any other questions that you guys might have. We welcome as many as you guys want to come. So I'm going to go ahead and get into some what's sold. So if you guys, if that doesn't interest you, now's a good time to check out. I want to talk about a few things that have sold. Now, this sold the other day. I showed you. It's Jeff. Now, he wanted me to ship it to a different address because he's moving. I'm totally okay doing that. I know some people are like, don't ship it to any address that's not. And then he ended up adding this for $10. So I think this was. So basically 12 plus 10. So I nearly doubled the size of the order. And then it worked out because his new address is actually in this one that sold. So it actually is going to go to the address that is in his eBay store. So yeah, so that worked out. These were the two that sold on district on, I can't wait to start saying that. But these were the ones that sold on HIP the other day for $60 US. I had good sales today. Like right now, what am I up to today? I'm up to 235 on eBay. Just some nice things going out. Little comic lot, Wicked and the Divine. These sold. Oh, no promoted on the Alf. Did any promoted? Okay, now this is interesting. Because this was sold with promoted listings. And then he added this, Alf, and it doesn't show promoted listings. So I was always under the impression, it even said it was repeat buyer. I get confused because people are constantly saying that if a buyer buys something from a promoted listings, then the next up to 30 days is falls under that umbrella of promoted listings. So I'm confused as to why that second one wasn't. So the Wicked and the Vine set, that sold for $27 plus shipping and handling, no promoted listings. I had quite a few sales that did not have promoted listings, even with promoting. Let's see here. Oh yeah. These sold for $30. This is a pretty cool artist, Corey Lewis? Yeah, Corey Lewis. These are like his own self-published stuff. I've sold this one. It says Dead Naked, and it's signed by him. He was at a comic show here pre-COVID. I bought a bunch of his stuff. Some of these had sold for as much as 50 or 60 back in the day, but the comic market in general is a little depressed right now. Sold this. Where is it? The Vancouver Frame Builders Show. It's just a little pamphlet, $14 including shipping. It just show. I think it just shows like businesses in the Vancouver area. But I love rescuing things like this from estate sales. I remember exactly where I got that. Yeah, everything sells. Picked this up for $3 at a thrift store. This sold for $33 including shipping. I knew someone would need this eventually. I tried selling it locally, couldn't get a bite. That one did sell via promoted listings. These are cool if you're into comics. These little like canvas art plaques. Tried selling these locally, couldn't get a bite. These sold for $48 including shipping. And then Awesome Venom. I think this is a cool, I believe this is a handmade coffee cup. This is getting sold locally. I had it on eBay. Didn't have any interest in it, or they didn't show that listing. This is getting sold for, yeah, somebody made this. This is a very unique item. It sold for $18 local. It just, you know, what you need to ask for it on eBay plus shipping and handling. It's difficult to sell things like this in the environment that we're in, but this is really a really cool piece. I actually think it's worth kind of more, but you know, the environment that we're in the economy, you kind of got to take what you can get to some degree. I thought this was pretty awesome. The guy who bought these Mad Max from me and this poster a couple weeks ago, literally, he's local and he ended up buying all of these as well, like a lot of Batman stuff, basically all Batman comics. So he ended up spending another $115 just through me, like we didn't go through eBay for these ones. So that was great. And then I sold this Hippo hamburgers. I've never heard of this particular place, but I believe it's from San Francisco. This sold for $26 including shipping. So that was a nice little button to be on the lookout for. All right, so I accepted an offer on these comics by Michael Fife. He has a very unique style of art, and if you can find any of his original, like the original series, they were like published independently, they go for a lot of money, like over $100 per issue. These are like a compendium, which obviously they go for a little bit of money as well. This is the second series. So this one, so Image ended up contracting him to do I believe maybe a reprint of his first series, and then the second series, I can't remember. But his original series is a very small, low independent print, and that's why they're quite desirable. But like I said, his style is so awesome. So 65 ship. Keep an eye open for Copra. And then I couldn't resist this, showing you guys $15 shipped. Who knew 2 Kermit the Frog buttons would sell for $19, including shipping? And this is interesting. I don't know how this is going to go down. So somebody messaged me. There's 7 of these decals. Is that what I'm saying that right? I don't even know what they are, to be honest with you, but they're old. They're from some restaurant that was in Vancouver. And I will show you what I bartered with if he actually does show up today. A vintage Doraemon plush, new with tags, but I mean it's new old stock. This sold for $43, including shipping. He hasn't paid yet, and it's literally just under a pound. Like I'm talking just under a pound. A Benetton Racing patch sold for $15, including shipping and handling. People of the Mist book. This sold for $16, including shipping. It's kind of beat. Well, I guess it's okay. I was a little surprised for what that went for. This came in a set. So there were 20 prints from Universal back in 1977. I'll show you. What did I do with it? It came in this folder, which is kind of ratty, actually. I mean, it's pretty worn. From Universal Pictures, MC77. And I'll show you a couple of them. 2-minute warning. I've never seen that before. I mean, I've never seen the movie. Paul Newman Slapshot. Car Wash. I haven't seen any of these movies. The Sting, another Paul Newman. 9/30/55. I literally have seen none of these. Airport 77. I thought it was Airplane for a second. I'm like, I've seen that. And The Slipper and the Rose. Yeah, so I believe there were 20 in there to begin with, and I paid like $60 for the set. And I mean, there were some really good ones in there. There was one that actually, this might have been the best one, Smokey and the Bandit. But for some reason, I was thinking there was another one. But this sold for $55, including shipping, and not including shipping. So I believe it was like 62. And then the guy, he's got a strange request. He wants me to tape the entire canister, but like I guess he's ordered some posters and they've gotten wet. So it's not very big. I think I can accommodate him. So Vans Off the Wall. I can't even remember what this sold for. Actually, I'm waiting on him to pay. Am I waiting on him to pay? Or did he pay and then he wants to add? Yeah, so he paid $32, including shipping. And he said that he wanted to add a hat to the order, but I've not heard back from him, and I'm going to be shipping this stuff out tomorrow. So the last thing I wanted to show you guys, I had these, and you're going to see them. We've already done the deal. You let me know if you think it was a good deal or not. I think it was. There were these little decals from a restaurant chain in Vancouver. They were old. They were probably from like the 60s or the 70s. Probably from the 70s. And the guy was a historian, and he messaged me on Craigslist. He wanted to know if I would do a barter. And, I'm always down to barter stuff if I can. If I think... I've had them listed probably for 6-8 months local. I had them on eBay as well. No bites. They were very... that's most specific buyer had to come along. So he had these, and there's nothing special about them, but there are these limited prints from a Banksy, like a Banksy show exhibit that they had in Vancouver. I don't know exactly when. Oh, 2023. So this year. So there's 2 of them there. I got that, and then he basically threw in, I asked him if he had any patches before I knew about the posters. And he brought this just to throw it in, Maple Leaf Singers patch. I have no idea what this is. I will list it, and I feel like there's a wider audience for the Banksy prints than potentially what I traded. So I'm actually quite happy with this. So we'll see how this trades out. I had a $15 value on the decals locally. I had them a little bit higher on eBay, and I mean, I have to believe that these 3 things are going to be better than what I paid for, but who knows? You know. And I made a good contact. We chatted for a while, and you know, he told me kind of the things that he collects for. I told him a few things that I'm on the lookout for, and you know, we exchanged numbers and added them to our contacts. So we're going to keep in touch that way. So it's good. It's sometimes local sales is really good. Sometimes you make really good contacts, especially if you're in non-competing niches. I know that I was talking with Jack the other day. Oh, somebody just bought a Rocky 1976 movie poster for $35. I paid $1 for that at a garage sale. It's pretty beat, but it's a pretty cool poster. It's a pretty cool piece of pop culture history. And I just sent that offer out during one of the in-between takes of this video. So that's awesome. So yeah, I'm up to 260 something for the day. So really good day for sales for me. I'm happy with that. And you know, maybe this is the 4th quarter is here. But I was talking with Jack the other day, and he had bought a large record collection, and he was tipped off by a fellow, you know, collector in a non-competing niche. And that's how he got that tip to be able to go buy that. And he's already sold and flipped a lot of the records and gotten his initial investment back. And yeah, it's always good to network that way with people. So anyhow, I'm going to end this video now. I'm going to get myself to the gym. And I hope you guys all have a great day. I hope to see some of you on the live tomorrow at Primo Chemo. I'll have the link in the bio. Check out his most recent video talking about promoted listings, but not promoting, and how that has affected his sales. It's affected it in a very positive way, which is in direct correlation to kind of like what Jetfixer has been saying about how it's, you know, to not promote. But I hear both sides. I hear people who have turned off their promoted listings and have had negative results. It's tough. It's tough to know what to do. It's tough when when we make changes, there doesn't seem to be any consistent reaction or response to our sales. So it's the inconsistency of promoted listings is a bit of an issue for me. It makes me very suspicious of. Just makes me very suspicious. I'll leave it at that. Take care, guys. Feed that YouTube algorithm. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I know there's lots of you watching and not subscribed. So take care. We'll have a good night. Okay, so I packaged the poster up. So you can't even see it. It did have a lot of wear on it. It's a really long poster, and this was the only one tube that I had this long. And then I marked it, and then I cut it wrong. I literally cut it. Luckily, there's just the tiniest little bit of room in there. Anyhow, that's not why I came back on for bonus footage. I just had my biggest sale on eBay ever for $630 for a complete set of this comic series called Crossed Badlands. And it has like all these variants. I can't even show them to you because I've already packaged it up. Like a long time ago. Like I sold this once on eBay. When I sold it, I think I accepted an offer of like 525. For some reason, that number sticks in my head. And then he ended up canceling. And I remember being out to eat with Maria at a really nice restaurant. And then, the sale went through and then he paid. And then like 2 days later, he ended up canceling. So I'm going to get this order packaged up, get a label on it. It's going to a remote area in Canada, so I hope it's not too much, but I charged a significant amount for shipping and handling because media mail is not what it used to. Well, I wouldn't have been able to send this media mail anyhow, but media mail and regular mail for anything over like 10, 15 pounds, there's actually not much difference anymore. Not like there used to be. But yeah, so total sales for today is 900. I was not expecting that. So good deal, guys. Let me know if you guys are seeing an uptick in sales. So yeah, bye for now this time.